Right-wingers are women worshippers, but it doesn't save them. MAGA, it's not going to save you. Here, misogyny that's fracturing the MAGA movement. So, see, MAGA guys, you talk about family, you talk about marriage, and it doesn't matter. If you don't pander to women 100% like the left wing does, you're going to be called misogynist. So let's hear this.
Now, the MAGA movement is very fractured over the Iran war, but there are other issues sowing divisions within. Rampant misogyny is one of them.
Yeah. What a disgusting that should be considered hate speech right there. This bold-faced lie. Hey, MAGA, I'm not on your side, but still, dudes, why you letting these people lie about you like this and slander your name?
And young women who were once drawn to MAGA are defecting, disillusioned by the explicit, cruel, and fickle sexism they see.
Of course, there is no sexism. What is these young women? I'm going to educate you, MAGA guys. These young women join up hoping to find a high status man to leech off of. That's what marriage is. And they find out most of you are low status bums who they have contempt for. So they leave, right? And you low status bums, you're demanding marriage. Hey, I want to shack up with a woman and gain intimacy with her. That's your big crime, right? Being low status.
In his recent New York Magazine article, journalist Sam Adler-Bell writes about the women leaving the new right, and he's speaking to Michelle Martin.
There is no new right. It's the same right. You right-wingers are just, as Mr. Pink and Yellow pointed out, heretical feminist. You guys you believe in the feminist ideas, but you want like a pat in the back. There, girls, I'm willing to work for you. Be nice to me. Doesn't work, does it, MAGA?
About it.
Thanks, Christian. Sam Adler-Bell, thanks so much for talking with us.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Your story is crazy. The short version is conservative women who have buyer's remorse.
Yeah,
Fair?
that's a good way to put it.
How did you get onto this?
Hey, MAGA, get ready for the gaslighting.
Well, I mean, I
by a male feminist.
have a sort of group of sources on the right that I talk to relatively frequently for my work, for my podcast, and also for my reporting.
I know you guys would call this guy a soy boy, but the fact is, very masculine MAGA men worship women and harm other men trying to pander to women. So you're no better than this guy.
And so I'm kind of always in touch with them, trying to like get a sense of where things are at, what's going on internally. I mean, there's an enormous amount of internal conflict on the right that we wouldn't necessarily know about if there wasn't people doing this kind of reporting.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, the way it came to me was really last fall after Nick Fuentes, this kind of pipsqueak anti-Semitic incel character who's very popular.
You should keep your mouth shut, calling him a pipsqueak and an incel, dude. You don't look like someone who gets a lot of action.
Popular on the online right. He was
and you don't look traditionally masculine either.
Interviewed by Tucker Carlson, as many people might remember. And a lot of the fallout from that, there was sort of internal to the right, a lot of dissension over it. But a lot of the fallout was about, his anti-Semitism, a little bit about his racism. But when I was talking to women on the right, people that I know, they were frustrated that nobody was talking about the main thing, the kind of least ironic and most kind of obvious and painful aspect of Fuentes' self-presentation, which is that he hates women. And it's just
Fuentes worships women. So this guy is gaslighting MAGA. He's lying through his teeth. Right? He's saying up is down. And by the way, these women that are leaving because you guys are misogynist, are they also not racist and anti-Semitic? I bet they are. Or at least no less than you guys. But notice racism and anti-Semitism is reserved for the male gender. So this guy is a sexist, 100%. You guys have to recognize the sexism involved. But you're going to take it because you're woman worshippers, right?
Just so apparent. And they were frustrated that while the right was having this internal debate about where to draw the lines about anti-Semitism and about racism, they weren't talking about the sexism, which from their perspective has become kind of the lifeblood of the movement.
There you go, guys. These sexist, anti-Semitic women, we got to side with them because these anti-Semitic men aren't worshiping them well enough, right? They're low status bums. They're not making enough money to marry them, right?
They are a part of.
So your piece opens with somebody called Anna, and she doesn't want to be identified by her real name for reasons you're going to tell us.
Why not? She left, didn't she? Hey, Michelle, she left the right. So what does she have to fear? Is it possible she's still there and looking for that wealthy guy to leech off of? Also, it's pretty disgusting. These MAGA guys, they're not going to hurt any woman. So what it is, she's too cowardly. She wants to attack men and avoid any consequences. So typically female.
But tell us Anna's story.
Well, Anna is really a
Tell her bullshit lies about MAGA.
Representative character for a certain kind of young woman who was attracted to the right during Trump's first term, who was a very talented writer, became a popular pundit, writing for major outlets, working in conservative institutions, and often.
Oh, so she's fairly high status herself. So of course she wants the highest of the high. She's going to shack up with a guy. He's got to be like top dog. And all these low status losers were hitting on her, no doubt.
In writing about women as a woman, including this kind of narrative that the right was adopting.
As a woman, what else would you write of as?
At the time, that women are really unwell, that feminism has diverted their natural motherly instincts into this quest for worldly success.
There you go. There you go. So this woman, you see, hey, MAGA guys, do you see the hypocrisy here? She's saying feminism is leading women the wrong way. In other words, these feminists were cock-blocking her from finding a wealthy man to leech off of, right? And so she got into your MAGA group and said, hey, most of you are unemployed or low status. You don't make enough money. She despises you. Women don't like guys, MAGA. What they like about us is whatever we make. And you guys just don't make enough for this woman.
And now that they have it, women are using this newfound authority to punish and fetter men, which imperils civilization in the process. This is the kind
of... This has never been new, right? For you MAGA guys to even say that is clownish. For her to write that, women have always had social dominance in any country or any society that has ever existed. More gaslighting.
Kind of thing that Anna was writing. But her experience is one that is representative of a lot of people I talked to in the piece, which is that over time, she started to see that basically she was, basically selling people the rope to hang herself. She started to realize that she was participating in a movement that was using her, and that it wasn't worth it really to...
Using her how? Like all the policies of MAGA, I bet she was for, right? So what does she mean by using her? In other words, these guys who were hitting on her, wanted to shack up with her, and these guys were low-income bums. That's what she means by being used, right? It's like when a guy promises to marry you and then bangs the girl, and then she gets pissed off. You didn't live up to your promise, dude.
Get this kind of career and status on the right, as the right sort of basically made their whole project about punishing women, pushing them out of public life, out of the workplace.
No. Wanting to make them into housewives, which something that women demanded, right? This woman, she wants to get married to a high status man, and she wants to be able to maintain her career while he supplies her with a higher lifestyle that she cannot do on her own, right? That's what she wants.
You did start to see.
But these MAGA men, hey, MAGA guys, you want something out of the deal, right? You're willing to work like dogs, give your woman everything you got, as long as she stays within your sphere. So when you get home, she's there. And she doesn't sleep around with other guys. And she pretends she loves you really well. And this woman is saying, there is no deal. We want everything, you give it to us, and you get nothing in return. That's her issue.
That this was wrong, and that she didn't want to be a part of it. And that's...
See, hey, notice she had nothing, no issues with MAGA policies. None. All the policies that people slam MAGA for, she's guilty of. So this woman worshiping clown right here, this man hater, he's siding with this MAGA woman. He's on the left, right? Sorry, right? He's on the left. And yet he's going to support a far-right MAGA woman. Because gender comes before everything else in a man's mind.
Where she came to me at that point, this moment of kind of one foot in.
She came to you, so this right-winger went to a left-winger. You know why? Because women are neither right nor left. Well, actually, they are right when it comes to gender issues. Like, they are right-wingers. But the point is, they'll go to the left wing to turn on their own men. This is so typical. Zero loyalty from the opposite sex.
1 foot out, not ready to come out and say what you wanted to say under her own name. And I think, to be clear...
So why should anyone listen to you, dude? This is a cool story, bro. This is all just a bunch of bullshit then. Without an identity, you're just making up a story. You woman-worshipping piece of garbage. You're just making up a story. This woman I know said this. And even her claims, even if she identified herself, would just be claims. It's not evidence of anything.
She's not making money on the right anymore. She has left, those positions that she once had. Her fear, her motivation for...
She had to work for a living, or she gets married to a guy with a low income and becomes a housewife. She doesn't want to do either of those.
Keeping her name out of the piece, and I do believe this, is out of fear.
No, you're lying. See that MAGA guy? See how these gaslighters work? He's telling a bold-faced lie. He's slandering you, MAGA guys. You guys know that you worship women with all your heart and all your soul and all your being. This guy's saying the opposite, right?
People who support Nick Fuentes, who is sort of one of the antagonists in this piece, they say they will rape, die, and kill for Nick Fuentes. They say this smirkingly, ironically, they might say. But nonetheless, Anna is somebody who lives around a lot.
I don't believe someone said they'd rape. Or if they said ironically, then it doesn't mean anything. If they said it jokingly, it doesn't mean anything. Right? I doubt they said it at all. Hey, dude, if that's what you mean, where are the screenshots? Hey, MAGA guys, notice these guys never produce any screenshots. This is religion. Ever watch like religious TV? You know, it's all these testimonials. I was walking down the street and something fantastic happened to me out of the blue. God's on my side, right? Same idea. This woman somewhere, someplace told me this story. Therefore, it's true.
A lot of conservatives. She's somebody who was very connected, on a personal and professional level with this movement, and she fears retaliation.
At what point?
She fears someone calling her out and exposing her for the liar she is. So just because a woman fears, that doesn't mean anything, dude.
Would you say the break came for her? Was it having kids herself where she realized, A, I don't want that life for my kids? Or was it realizing that being a mother, being a trad wife is actually harder than it looks?
Being a trad wife is harder than it looks. It's not just hard, it's boring, right? Look, these trad wives are great if there's tons of other trad wives to hang with. And it's going to be high enough status that they have other women looking after their children. They have nannies looking after their children. So they can go socialize with one another. But these MAGA guys, probably most of them were low-income guys, and to become their trad wife would mean just hanging around by herself with a baby. That's what she wasn't into. By the way, none of that is misogyny. She is not forced to take any of these deals. No MAGA man is trying to force her to do anything. They might be trying to convince her. That's not forcing her.
Well, I mean, we're combining two stories a little bit here because one of the people I spoke.
And look at him trip over his words. Well, because the woman, she called her out. Here, let me just back that up a bit. Where is she here? I just want to hear that again.
Was it having kids herself where she realized, A, I don't want that life for my kids? Or was it realizing that
What do you mean I don't want my life for that life for my kids? She wanted it for herself. So notice again, these women always hold children as shields for their own lack of character each and every time, right? But back to the woman worshiping simp here, right?
Partially having kids, where she realized that this sort of trad life, trend on the right about, oh, women should just want to be mothers and stay at home and just focus on, tending their garden and growing and making food.
But a lot of women choose that. If it's a growing trend, it's because women want that, dude. Just because she rejects it, it has nothing to do with the MAGA men. Nothing.
With their kids, that was ridiculous. That was totally absurd. First of all, because she wanted to continue to have, a career, but also because the idea that she would have to do everything for the kids and her husband would do none of it was
gaslighting. Gaslighting. Her husband isn't going to do anything because he's already working. She's at home by herself. That's her job. See, marriage means to women not working. She gets together with the man works for her. So he's supposed to work a full-time job, come home and take care of the kids.
totally untenable. It just would not work. As she says,
it's totally untenable. Expect something out of me? You think a quid pro? No. There is no deal in marriage. The man serves.
Kicks the trad out of you really fast. And I think that was a big part of it for her. I think Alex talks about how when she was on the right and before she had kids, she accepted the idea that, female coded things were low status. And that was.
This is bullshit too. This is more gaslighting, MAGA. Facial surgery is female coded, and it's very high status. Makeup is high status. Fashion is high status. Women are the gender bourgeoisie. Everything they do is high status. So this guy told another bold-faced lie.
Something that she experienced amongst the men on the right. But once she became a mother and sort of experienced her womanhood in that way, she ceased to feel that way and thought that was an absurd thing to think. I mean, I think this is another important part.
So she became a mother, right? And she wanted her career. Who's going to look after her children, right? She expects a man not to become a house husband because she wouldn't put up with that. She's not giving him the easier gig. She expects the man to make enough money to supply her with a nanny so she doesn't have to look after her children. She can brag she has children, but she's not going to look after them. She doesn't work for a living. She wants to LARP at a career.
This, which is that while people like Fuentes and Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and these sort of red pill, awful manosphere people are saying, you know,
see, MAGA, you're being connected to the manosphere. How does it feel? How does it feel, MAGA? See, the manosphereans to you guys, they're a bunch of incels that can't get laid. Here you are, being connected to it. Even though we actually know that this guy here did get laid, you know, but it doesn't matter. They just call him an incel anyway. So you're being connected with inceldom. In a way, you are connected because if you're a bunch of low status, low income males, then you are considered incel.
We're going to be awful to women. We're advertising it that our authority is going to be fickle and vicious. On the other hand,
yeah, well, that's more gaslighting. It's more slander. We all know you guys worship women. Tate worships women. All this talk is just talk. We go by actions over here. The actions is that you MAGA guys are no better actually than this guy talking right here.
And you have
and you're no worse either.
Traditionalists who are saying women need to be re-subject to male authority, totally dependent upon them. All the rudiments of the ability to have an independent life, we're going to take.
No, that's bullshit. Bullshit. It's another total lie. What men want to do is that the woman doesn't run away. So he has to supply everything. It's the man who doesn't have independence. This housewife, this trad housewife, no matter what people say, she can leave the house and take her kids with her, enjoy the world, and bang other guys. It happens all the time. The woman speaking to this guy, if she's real, doesn't actually want to look after her own children. It's that simple.
Those things away from women. And so what you've got here is
they're not trying. You guys aren't trying to take anything away from women. You're offering something to women. Again, this guy, you're a liar. Who are you again? Well, they say what's his name? Poor and Company. I don't know what this guy's name is, but you're a liar, and I can call you a liar because you are one.
What I described in the piece as a pincer movement. On the one hand, you have the traditionalists saying you can't have an independent life. You are going to be forced into a marriage. And
No. That's a total lie. You guys don't try and force these women into anything. I've never seen you right-wing MAGA guys or right-wing men, period, ever force women to do anything. Ever. So he's a liar. This guy is a bold-faced liar. I can say that about you. You're the worst gaslighter in existence. And when I laugh about these female pets, like this guy, they'll turn on him so fast and make his head spin. Then he'll be crying and said, but I was a good little attack dog, you know? Which makes you no different than the MAGA guys, dude. You're no different from the MAGA guys you're bashing.
forced into a home. And at the same time, on the sort of red pill right, you have people saying, and the authority of men is going to be awful.
What's fascinating to me is that I'm just wondering why they
Men never had any authority. Guys going off to war and working in the mines and sailing the dangerous seas, that's not authority. That's the opposite of it.
didn't figure this out before. These incels, I don't know, these.
See, hey, MAGA, see, you're incels. I told you. Incel is the new N-word. That's what it means. It's like, you guys just don't know your place. You MAGA guys, you might be getting laid occasionally, but it doesn't matter because it's not about getting laid. It's about, do you know your place as a man?
Brute force guys. I'm just wondering, why would anybody go for that?
I would say that
because they're not brute force guys. They're not forcing anyone. It's just like the church. The church likes to brag and talk about, women obeying their husbands. The church never forces any of the female congregants to do anything. Matter of fact, it supports any changes. The church has changed over time at women's win because the true religion is the religion of women.
The prominence of these red pill, as you say, the brute force guys
You're talking about MAGA. Who said they were red pill? Hey, MAGA, are all you guys red pillars?
in the MAGA movement and the sort of acceptability of their views has just grown and grown and grown. They undermine the plausibility of the old conservative, patriarchal Christian deal,
What are you talking about? Undermine it. What a bold-faced gaslighting lie to say. How would they undermine it, dude, when they're asking for it? Listening to these people is painful. Listening to misogynists is like, it's like getting your teeth done at the dentist without anesthetic.
Because that involved a certain amount of reciprocity. Now these people are saying, no, men don't have to do anything.
Bullshit. What a bullshit lie. What a bullshit lie. Did they say that they were going to become house husbands and the wife is going to go out to work? No. So you're lying again. Now, this character here, MAGA, this character here will be the first guy to point out all the lies of Trump, all the endless lies of Trump. And here he is being a clone of Trump. Oh, what's his name? Okay, Sam Adler-Bell. Adler-Bell? Why do you have two last names? Now, this guy is, again, just a clone of Trump. You're a guy who spews endless lies, obvious lies, and you have zero shame. How are you different from him? Adler?
And in fact, they can treat women awfully, and
No, prove it. Where are your examples? How are they treating women awfully? And they can't. They're not allowed. Right? But they aren't anyway. MAGA, back me up. Are you treating women awfully? Are you forcing them into marriage?
Less women should submit to their authority. And I think that became more and
yeah, but even the MAGA uses this bullshit terms. Women don't submit to men's authority. Women agree to men's servitude. They're willing to shack up with men knowing that men serve.
more clear and more sort of just explicit amongst various spheres of the MAGA world. And that contributed to, these women moving away from it.
How widespread do you think, does your reporting indicate that those
Notice he said young women. Hey, Adler, how come it's not all age categories? because the older women are already married to a guy who's high enough status for them. So they're going to stay. But these young women are looking for high status losers, or I should say suckers. And there's not enough of them.
Are. How prevalent are those attitudes among men who consider themselves, who are part of the MAGA movement?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge. I mean, one thing to look at is just how incredibly popular Nick Fuentes is.
How popular is he?
I mean, he's
very, but that has nothing to do with anything.
Was banned from X, the X platform, and when he was welcomed back by Elon Musk, his audience grew from a couple 100,000 to well over 1 million now. Mm-hmm. He gets more than 1 million views on many of his streams, his live.
Well, he's a good scammer. He makes promises he can't deliver, because these MAGA men they're not into forcing women to do anything, and women aren't interested in them. So, guys just love other guys who are full of hot air.
Streams that he posts on Rumble. And I've heard from sources within the White House, within the Trump administration, that there is no doubt that the younger people who work there, the junior staffer class, that many of them listen to Nick Fuentes. So this is not quarantined to just, I don't know, our idea of the inside.
Yeah, low status men want to become high status men and get the girl. So they're hoping listening to Fuentes will help them.
This is not quarantined to just, I don't know, our idea of the incel loser in the basement. These are people who have actual power over policymaking
Well, there you go. See? Now, the truth does eke out. You see, they bash on low status men who can't get laid. The only reason they're bashing women is because they can't get laid and they're in their mother's basement. But now he's admitting that that's not true. That these guys who don't know their place often are very well employed. They do get action from time to time. Some of them are very high status. So all you guys who get called incel realize what's going on here. This is all an argument between two groups of woman worshipers on how you should worship women.
The current government who are listening to this stuff, absorbing it, and talking about it. Another source who works on the Hill, a conservative, a devoted MAGA operative, he told me that all men are really concerned about this quote unquote feminization of public life. And basically what that means.
Well, in other words, they don't want to be bashed for being men. It's sexism. It's not feminization. It's sexism. It's women attacking men. That's what it actually is. And these MAGA guys, they're such female worshipers, they can't voice it. They can't frame it in that factual way. They worship women so much, they can't say, hey, they're my class enemy.
Is that there's too many women involved in positions of power. I mean, one of the things I write.
Well, the fact is women attack men. So as soon as they get into power, that's what they do. They don't look after the country. They attack men. So this is what's wrong with having women in positions of power. This is what these MAGA woman worshipers can never voice.
In the piece, which I think does sort of encapsulate this, is that if you listen and you pay close attention to all of the problems that the right, in particular the MAGA right, is diagnosing, at the center of every problem is a woman with too much power.
And how widespread?
Well, that's a total lie too, right? That's a total lie. MAGA, back me up. Is that the source of all your problems? Well, it is. This guy is projecting. It's not just gaslighting. This guy, Adler, is projecting. Everything about his life revolves around women. So he's projecting that onto you.
And do you think, based on your reporting, is this disillusionment among women who used to consider themselves part of this movement?
Yeah, that's also hard to judge. I mean, the women that I spoke to,
It's hard to judge. It's just a bunch of made up stories. It's just testimonials, right?
say that every single woman involved in conservative politics knows about this problem, and they are talking about it with each other. Whether they have decided it's fine, it's not a big deal, or they've decided it is a problem, but I can't leave. This is my career, this is my livelihood, and I have sort of political goals that are more important than my hurt feelings or whatever. Whatever.
Thank you for admitting it. See, the truth comes. So it's about their hurt feelings. They're not actually suffering. They're not being forced to get married. They're not having their rights stripped away from them. They're just annoyed that the men don't know their place. But these women, they don't want to give up their posh jobs, their careers, right? They got too much invested.
Whatever their response to it is, the sources that I've talked to say that all women involved in MAGA politics are aware of this problem. And, you see it.
It's not a problem, right? It's not this problem. Like, it's the same as on the left. Dude, you do realize women talk about male feminists like they're cockroaches. The exact same thing women are claiming about MAGA men. They claim about guys like you. They say the same things about guys like you. That you're a wolf in sheep's clothing, and that you're a danger to women. Frankly, Adler, you really disgust me. I'm having a hard time getting through this video. What's it like to be such a subhuman? It's a genuine question.
Sort of come out in little bits and pieces every once in a while. You had the New York Times reporting on women in Congress who are disappointed by
Republican anger erupts at Johnson. His party frets about future.
by Mike Johnson's leadership, saying that he's too patriarchal, he's not listening to women's voices. You saw it with the sort of
There you go. There you go, guys. You don't know your place. Women rule over you, and they rule over you 100%. There's no any give and take. Just know your place.
Revolt over the Epstein files, which was led by conservative women. In little glimpses, you can see that this
Epstein files, what's that got to do with anything? Epstein's right-hand man was a woman.
problem is there. But for the most part, amongst this sort of pundit, influencer, operative class of women that were most of my sources for this piece, they're talking about it in private. They're talking about it in group chats. They're comparing notes about.
Yeah, see, guys, this is what you get. The women who are a class enemy of men, they're always working in the background, they're networking with one another to hurt you.
Bad men they've encountered in the movement, but they're not, for the most part, coming.
Guys who don't know their place.
Out public.
Or who are low status, low income. They hate those kind of guys.
And, calling for a reckoning.
This is white people, I assume.
This
is a
women.
white people thing. These are all white women.
There you go. They're all white women. What did I say, guys? Over and over again. If you watch my content, white women rule. They use minorities as shields, and they want to pretend that they themselves are part of a minority. White women are the majority. They're the most privileged human beings who have ever existed in the history of the world. And then they lump themselves in with you. And look at the smug look on this guy's face.
Right.
Yeah.
Just because I'm in the African American context, they're just it's not sustainable. I mean, African American women have just a long history of being heads of households, co-equal partners,
Yes.
It's bullshit. Black men have had to pander and provide for you black women as much as the white guys do with white women. So you're lying. And also, she has an issue. She's split. This woman wants to support her fellow female man-hater, but she also, as a black woman, wants to say, I'm jealous of this white woman privilege. That's what you're saying, whatever your name is. You're jealous of white woman privilege. The gall must stick in your throat.
Especially in the modern era.
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, something that should be noted about this whole phenomenon, and it is mostly white women who are.
Yeah, let's notice about that. So again, a bunch of racist MAGA women are angry because their MAGA men don't make enough income for them to bother with, and they're trying to convince them to marry them, and that makes them misogynist, right? And this left-wing regressive is on those women's side.
Who
The right wing is bad until they're a bunch of women.
Get these jobs and who are working in conservative politics. And, we can applaud them for, coming around and seeing that, sexism is a huge problem and that
it is a huge problem for men. Sexism is something that men suffer, not women. Right? So this smug cretin here, he's patting these MAGA women on the back. We're probably racist, and as he claims, anti-Semitic. They're bad in every way, but still, because they're female, we can throw that all out the door, right? Which means this man has zero principles, which all feminists do. Actually, most men, I have to say, have zero principles when it comes to these gender issues.
This thing that's affecting them is making them upset and maybe,
Yeah, making them upset. They're not forced to do anything. They haven't suffered any, real injustices, but they're upset. Right.
considering leaving conservative politics or the MAGA movement. But it's fair to say that they've tolerated an enormous amount of racism, which,
bullshit. They are racist. So these MAGA women, you can claim, all you guys, you left-wing guys, you left-wing regressives, turn around and claim all the MAGA guys, they're all racist, but all the MAGA women aren't. Right? To be female means you just can't be, even though it's obvious that they are.
doesn't affect them personally and therefore isn't.
You are a cretin.
The thing that has pushed them, out of the movement. I mean, this movement is,
No one pushed these women out of the movement. They just ditched it. They can jump wherever they want. They can leapfrog or monkey branch to any group. They're always going to be welcome. And they'll quit complaining once they got a guy who's high enough status to take care of all their desires. That still won't stop them from bashing your gender, dude. Ours, that is. Know what I like about this? This guy lives a crap life. Male feminists live crap lives. And this is the only time he feels some kind of joy, when he's getting a little pat on the head by his female betters. Then he can go home and get nagged by his wife.
Unbelievably and explicitly racist, and that wasn't the thing that caused these women to change their mind.
Yeah, but I'm struck by something else you said at the beginning of our conversation, which is that some of the things that Nick Fuentes says, it's basically glorifying rape. You're talking about, in some cases, not just Nick Fuentes, but other people, the actual physical subjugation of women by force.
That's is that so? MAGA guys, tell me if this woman's lying or not. Because I haven't watched enough of Fuentes to say yes or no that he's ever said that. Tate says ridiculous things that in practice he never follows. So Fuentes might actually verbally say something stupid. But he's a woman worshiper, so he's never going to harm her, right?
force if necessary. Women are half the population. It's one thing to demonize a minority group. You may not know any members of that group. But all
this woman, it's all right to demonize me as a black woman, but don't, as a black person, but not as a woman. Because this woman identifies with her gender way before her race. She might get annoyed if you demonize her as a black person, but if you demonize her as a female, which guys never do, by the way, then the knives get out.
these men have mothers. They all have sisters. Some of them have daughters.
Lady, all you women have brothers, you all have fathers, you all have sons, and that doesn't stop you from attacking them. Mothers are the first ones to cut their sons. Something fathers don't do to their daughters. Mothers circumcise their sons. You are projecting what you do onto us.
And it's just, it is interesting. And I'm curious what you make of that.
Yes, these men have mothers, they have sisters, they may have wives, they may have had girlfriends.
But all these man-haters, these female man-haters, they also have male relatives and husbands. So this is a meaningless talking point. I'm going to get by this. I'm not going to let this guy gibber. Let's get to the next question.
On a woman with power, a politician, or a woman with power in a corporation, or on television even, they are reminded of this sort of primordial experience of being humiliated by a woman with power, and they hate them. I mean,
No, these men are attacked by women in power. See how he says they're humiliated. It might be humiliating, but it's also unjust. So he's, hey, MAGA guys, see what this cretin is doing? He's saying you were just humiliated by a woman. Otherwise, you would love women. Women can never do evil. If you have a problem with a woman, if you have an issue with a woman, it's all on you. Right.
I think it's not crazy to say that part of where the hatred of women comes from is these sort of deep experience.
Doesn't exist. You would have to search. There might be a 1 in a million guy. Might be actually be a true blue misogynist, but men worship women. So it's more gaslighting.
Experiences that men have.
But from your recounting, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, are all these people had bad experiences in kindergarten that we're all going to pay for? I mean, is that what happened?
In kindergarten? Wow. They're going right to little children. Little boys don't give a shit about little girls, guys. So these people, these cretins are attacking children. You two are the lowest of the low now. So you're saying little boys in kindergarten, they had bad experiences with women and they're bad from the beginning. This is something MAGA men don't do to little girls. You people, you cretins, stoop lower than any MAGA man ever will or ever has. What evil people.
And here,
it could be just as pathetic as that. I mean, if you watch the way Pete Hegseth behaves on television,
isn't he married? He gained enough status to have a woman leeching off him, right? So she's happy, right?
He seems to have,
Maybe I should just double check. I'll be right back. I don't know if he's married. Maybe I should make that assumption. He is married. Of course he is. He rose up in the ranks to get himself a new wife. It says his current wife. And guess what? She doesn't even take his name. His current wife is Jennifer Roche, not Hegseth. So Hegseth, he's the ultimate right-winger. How do you explain, where are you? How do you explain this? You cretin? Adler? How do you explain this? He's so right-wing, but he doesn't make his wife take his name. Because right-wingers, MAGA men, are female worshipers. And whatever women want, they get. So in practice, everything you say, claim about them is wrong.
Real anger towards women and people who have had any kind of authority over him, and that seems to motivate a lot of the way that he behaves. Trump.
He's angry at women, but he bribed a woman into his life to marry her. Right. All these guys want to marry women. Why? I thought they all hated them.
I mean, like Trump, we haven't even really talked about Trump, which is wild. In these kinds.
You know something? I'm not going to suffer through the last 4 minutes of this garbage. Because these two cretins are just a bunch of liars. This guy is the worst liar I've ever seen. Hey, you're as bad as Trump, dude. What's Trump known for? Telling bold-faced lies over and over again with zero shame or guilt over it. And here you are with that smug-looking grin on your face, doing the exact same thing. To me, a pro-male man, both you clowns are the same people. That's why the pro-male men aren't left nor right. Because both sides are filled with woman-worshipping cretins.